Given that the average Russian drinks between 6 and 12 gallons of vodka a year, more spirits than any other nation, the potential profit from illegal liquor smuggling is astounding.
I've been told by several sources that on the black market, say over in Europe, they may be able to make $500,000 on 6 containers. And if you multiply that times 100,000 containers, you can see the amount of profit I'm talking about.
Investigators believe the Russian mob is working with at least 6 American companies in the liquor smuggling racket. The first to be charged, the McCormick Distilling Company of Weston, Missouri. The company pleaded guilty to tax fraud and paid $2 million in fines.
The amount of alcohol in the McCormick case, you know, in terms of tax value on the street was probably worth $1 billion. And the money and the profits are all going into the hands of criminals.
So far, prosecutors have indicted several of the smugglers, including the informant whose frightened phone call launched the whole case. In April 1999, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. As part of his plea bargain, he agreed to remain active in the smuggling operation, working his eyes and ears for the ATF. The ingenuity of the Red Mafia continues to keep it one step ahead of authorities around the globe.
There's a saying that when you looked at the Italian mobsters, what do they do for fun? They play bocce ball. When you looked at Russian mobsters, what do they do for fun? They play chess. So that gives you a little bit idea what kind of people you're dealing with.
In the decades since the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Red Mafia has helped turn capitalism itself into a synonym for crime in Russia. Together with corrupt officials and a handful of businessmen, the gangsters have plundered the country's coffers, siphoning tens of billions of dollars from the economy. Meanwhile, more than 1/3 of all Russians earn less than $1 a day.
Many ordinary Russians who never had much respect for legal institutions in the Soviet period to begin with have even less confidence in legal authorities, police, judges, government bureaucrats now. So you find ordinary Russians breaking the law with impunity.
They're put into very dire economic circumstances, and an opportunity arises for them to benefit from some corrupt form of activity. They take advantage of that. Not because they want to do that, but because they feel like they have to do that. And not just for themselves, not because they want to live some fantastic life that they wouldn't otherwise live. It's to survive.
For hundreds of years, Russia's traditional criminal underworld, the thieves' world, was at war with the state. Today, it sometimes seems that the thieves' world has become the state. And yet, in a country with such a bruising past, there are still those who hold out a wary hope for the future.
I have 2 sons, and I want them to trust and believe, to have faith in their country, that the country can protect them, can help them.
There is a good saying here in Russia. It goes, what was stolen in heaps and piles is not going to come back all at once.
The problem of Russian organized crime is not hopeless, but it needs addressing. And it needs addressing not only in Russia, but on the international arena.
Free enterprise is a great slogan, but it means very little if you don't have rules that govern how it operates. Russia has free enterprise. It has a kind of Wild West capitalism, but it has no rules.